Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, indicating government's intention to intervene in the governance of the Northwest Province. This in light of the impasse in the dislodging of Premier Supra Mahumapelo. Section 100 of the Constitution does empower the National Executive to intervene in order to remedy the problem. In this way, Section 100 acts as a safeguard, it's said, really allowing for government to go in very troublesome provinces. For more, we're speaking to Professor Dirk Kotze. He's live with us in Pretoria. Thank you for being with us, Professor. So what do you understand about the use of Section 100? We heard earlier that Parliament will assess this, so maybe reverse it, but in the meantime, can the entire province be under administration?
Yes, well, this is one of the mechanisms of the South African Constitution to regulate intergovernmental relations, the three spheres of government. So the National Executive can intervene in situations in provinces where there are problems, and on the same scale, provinces can again become involved in local governments or local authorities. We have seen in 4 cases already that it has happened at the provincial level. First with the Eastern Cape, then the Free State, Limpopo. And now we are also seeing it in the case of Gauteng earlier on, and now the Northwest. So it's not a new situation. It's not something that hasn't been done in the past, and very often it is in order to be able to deal with the financial management in the province, as well as with problematic departments like, for example, education or health or roads and transport. And it provides therefore for the national government in order to secure or to make sure that the level of or the quality of government at provincial level is indeed in place and it is secured. And there are 2 options, as your reports earlier on already indicated. There are 2 sections or subsections in Section 100. The one is not so much of an intervention, while the B part of it is where the National Executive to a large extent actually takes over most of the management of provincial departments.
Does it really help when it comes to service delivery? Because we had someone in here last week talking about health, saying that once a department is under administration, there are even there are more bureaucratic loopholes to get, well, bureaucracy, more hurdles to overcome to get things done.
Well, I think the intention is to intervene not so much in terms of what happens on the ground in the first instance, but rather to change the management styles, to change the management systems in these in the different departments, and that's why they most of the time start with the provincial treasury to improve the quality of financial management and the procurement systems, for example, in the treasury, then to move to the different departments, whether it is health or education or any of these others, in order again to improve the capacity of those departments, to improve the internal mechanisms or procedures in those departments, and lay a foundation so that the provincial authorities and the provincial officials can take over once they've reached that level of satisfaction. So it is not so much that the national government takes over everything with respect to government, but rather try to rectify the problematic aspects of the management and the governance that happens within these departments.
Professor, how does this reflect on the ANC? Because it seemed like there was a search for and no political solution was found. It could be argued this is all just about the leadership of Supra Mahumapelo.
I guess it's unavoidable that one will be able to look at it from that point of view, also to say that if or when this is going to be fully implemented, then it means that the Premier Supra Mahumapelo, as well as most of the MECs, will be on the sidelines, that they won't be able to continue with their day-to-day governing process in the province, and that to a large extent will marginalize the Premier and those very close to him. I think another ironic element of the current situation is that the interministerial task team that has been established quite some time back already to investigate the quality and the level of governance in the province is led by Dr. Dlamini Zuma. So ironically, one of her strongest supporters is now the person that she has to deal with in this manner. So there's all sorts of political, I would say, undertones that one can see in this current situation, or this intervention that has been announced by the president.
And was it right for the president to be in KwaZulu-Natal today, not in the Northwest Province?
Yes, and I think what we are seeing is that he is going around to the more problematic provinces from an ANC point of view, as well as from a government point of view, in order to establish his presence there very regularly. I think this is the strategy that he is following in order to make sure that there's no political vacuum that develops over time, and therefore he wants to register his presence and his on-the-ground leadership, especially in the more problematic provinces like KwaZulu-Natal, like the Free State not long ago, and also obviously in the Northwest.
Final question very quickly. Where does this leave Mahumapelo and his supporters? How do they deal with such a move? It was said that they were part of a possible resurgence of the Zuma faction even.
I think this is the final nail in the political coffin of the Premier. It will be almost impossible for him to recover from this situation. He finds himself in this situation because he did not, or he reneged on his promise to resign, and I think that for many people in the province was the final move from his side to discard him to a large extent. I think therefore it's already to a large extent the end of his political career in the province. One will just have to see what will be the final step, and I guess that will be a decision by the National Executive Committee of the ANC in the end.
All right, thank you very much, Professor Dirk Kotze, coming to us live from Pretoria.